Hello, Brother Sewing and Crafting family. Brother Brand Ambassador Angela Wolf here, and I'm so excited to see you. And again, we are into organizing. Today, we got a great show for you. Hang tight and pull out your pens and pencils because we got a different type of organizing today with Cathy Gandy. See you in a sec.
Upsize your creativity with the all-new, all-smart Innovus NQ1700E, only from your friends at Brother. Demo one at your Brother dealer today.
All right, I can see some people are already organizing. So I'm actually organizing as well, and my voice is coming back, so be patient with me. Today we got Cathy Gandy, and we are live streaming on Brother Sewing and Crafting YouTube and Facebook pages. So if you want to watch this episode again on Facebook, share it to your page, share it with your friends. And if you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to our channel because you can come back. You'll never miss an episode. So I see you all rolling in. Let's bring Cathy to the party. Brother Educator Cathy Gandy, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you.
Oh, it's so nice to see you. I have to say Happy New Year because I have not seen you since last year.
Yes, it's fantastic seeing you and being here. It's just a wonderful place to be.
Oh my gosh, I know. This is so much fun. And I love January because we are organizing. And the last show we had, I took notes and notes and notes. And you'll have to excuse me, Cathy, you're going to be doing mostly talking today because I lost my voice last week.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
So what do you have for us about organizing? Because I had to laugh so loud when I said, what are you going to be organizing? You said, nobody will ever figure my organizing out.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't figure my organizing out. So I didn't think that would be the best place to take you, to see my organization. And this could be even a bumpier ride, but I'm going to show you how I take a project and I think it out and put it in a logical order for me, which, it could be this could be a scary to show. I don't know. To sew it out. And I have found that if I think about it and put it in a logical order that makes sense to me, I use my seam ripper a lot less because I'm sewing in an order that makes sense and I'm comfortable and I'm not looking at what somebody else does. I'm doing what I feel I'm comfortable with, what makes sense to me.
I love that. I think that is, and actually something that you just said strikes me. It means you're a genius. You want to know why? Because I was just reading about an individual who is a genius and they used to plan out everything in their head before they did anything ever. And I said to my husband, I go, that's how I design clothes. He goes, well, then you're a genius too.
Exactly. Yes.
But I love the part of not having to use a seam ripper so much. So where do you want to get started?
Okay, so I'm going to go to the other camera so they don't have to keep watching my mouth go. I'll be showing them stuff and talking about different techniques. So let me go ahead and change cameras here.
That sounds good. And as she goes, you all can answer questions. I mean, we'll answer the questions. You can ask questions as she goes too, because we're going to be covering embroidery, serging, a lot of things. Oh, we can see you great.
Okay, so this is a knit top, and this was done with the serger and the cover stitch. And what's nice about this this t-shirt, is that it's a two-piece sleeve. So this sleeve was cut into two pieces. So it looks like it is a raglan, but it's a two-piece raglan. So when you sew with a serger, you want to make sure that you keep things as flat as possible, as long as possible. You don't want to get into those curves with your blade and the stitch finger. If you look at your serger, the blade hits the fabric first. So it cuts, and about a ½ inch later, the stitches are formed around the stitch finger. So if your fabric moves to the left in that ½ inch, your stitches are not going to be on your fabric. They're going to be hanging off the edge of your fabric. So you want to make sure that if you have, after I got this sleeve, you can see that it has a bit of shape to it. So that is starting to turn this into a 3D project. But while it was flat, what I did was I sewed the front seam here to the front and the back seam to the back. And so that just kept that all really flat. And then I did the shoulder and the sleeve seam. So then all I had to do was just do this one long seam here And then I did the cover stitch on the hem, on the sleeve and the bottom, and then I put on my band. And this band here is wide enough to where I could keep it straight for quite a while, so serging it on was not a problem. And when you're using your cover stitch, you don't have a blade, so going in the round is not a big problem. So did you have something, Angela? I'm sorry.
No, I love that. I'm just watching. I love this. And, you know, I was just, when you were talking about the cover stitch machine, I can see a lot of people perk up because I know a lot of people got one of the cover stitch machines for the holidays, over the holidays, and they haven't taken it out of the box yet. And what you just explained for that top is simple and easy. Exactly.
Very simple, very easy. And it covers me quite well. You can see that there's a lot of fabric there.
It's a great design, though.
Yeah, and it's this is the narrow cover hem here, and you can see how nice that did. And after I serged the binding on here, I went ahead and covered stitched that on. So I have one needle here and one needle here in the ditch, and it just holds that down very nicely. And then just the hem. So I mean, your cover stitch serger makes things go together very easily, and but you just have to think about it. And make sure, keep saying that to yourself, just keep things as flat as possible, as long as possible, and it will go together a lot easier.
So how long did it take you to make that top then?
Oh gosh, I don't, just
like less than an hour?
Yeah, about an hour, 15 minutes or so.
Oh, we love easy projects like that.
Well, that's not counting cutting out. Sometimes cutting out kind of gets me, but anyway. But anyway, it's just easy and fantastic. And then you have the seam here, and it just was serged, and it's just, well, I actually cover stitched this one down to keep it flatter. So it's just a lot of fun, and it just makes you smile, and it goes together very quickly. Just a quick question for you. Pam wants to know, if she doesn't have a cover stitch machine yet, what would you recommend that she uses, like a twin needle, or do you have another preference? Okay, well, there's several things that you can do. If you want to just stick with your serger, you could do a lettuce edge around the bottom and around the cuff. And that's a narrow 3-thread. And as you're doing, after you're done, you just give it a little pull, and it lettuces it out. If you don't want to do that, then you can just serge it, turn it up, and use a double needle on your sewing machine, or a single needle. Just stitch it down. All right, two ways for you, Pam. 2 ways. All right. Okay. All right. So we have, nowadays, it used to be with my sewing machine, I had decorative stitches. That's what I had to use for decoration. And so you could do some things, and it was just exciting. Now, this was back in the 70s, so it was a long time ago. But it was exciting to have those. But now we have our embroidery. We have all kinds of just gorgeous things to do. But if you just go to add it, sometimes it just doesn't feel right. So I made a jacket. There's a Disney design in this machine that is a huge Alice in Wonderland. So I sewed her out. Oh. And I did it on a piqué fabric because this apron has no stitches, and I thought the piqué would be cute as the apron. So I stitched her out on this piece of piqué. I left plenty on each side, and the top and the bottom, because I didn't know what I was going to do with it. So I set it someplace where I had to look at it. Every time I walked by, I'd look at it, and I keep thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then finally, one day, it'll hit you. So I remembered this jacket pattern I had for a little girl, and it has the scalloped edge around the bottom. So cute. And it's just a real cute, just plain jacket. So in PE Design, I found a little bow pattern. So when I cut this out, I marked where the hem was and left about 5 inches down below it so that I would have room to hoop and sew my bows. And I would measure up so far from the point here and put the center of it. So that was one thing that I did. And then I just went ahead and put some Alice's on the front. I was going to do pockets. I was thinking, well, I could do pockets. And then I thought, no, this jacket isn't big enough for pockets. I thought that would just be too much. So, and it probably would have looked gorgeous. But anyway, I was probably too lazy to do it.
That is so precious. So precious.
Yeah. And then there was a design, an Alice in Wonderland design in this machine that I just absolutely love, but it was very busy. So what I did was I took that design and I made it into an applique. This fabric, my lining fabric, is too busy. You would never see any of this. So I went ahead and sewed it on the piqué, turned it into an applique on the machine, and appliqued it on my lining fabric.
Oh my gosh. What a great idea. That fabric is amazing too.
So it just gives you, when you think about it, if you see a design that you want, then you decide where to put it. And then you put it together. You put the lining in and then you just bind all the edges. And then our buttonholer just did fantastic buttonholes. Makes you a little nervous, but that new buttonhole foot, they just turn out gorgeous.
I love that new buttonhole foot. You could also use, if you're going into the embroider the buttonholes on. That's become one of my favorite thing ever is embroidered buttonholes.
So that was, Alice inspired me to come up with something because I just loved how she looked.
Oh my gosh. I love that. So do you have any tips? Everyone's saying, oh my gosh. So, Shirley wants to know, is that jacket reversible? It could be, I guess.
No, it could be, I guess. But let me see. But then, you have the buttons and the buttonholes. I guess I could. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But technically, because you have all the binding.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Everybody's saying, what a wonderful jacket.
It is so cute. I can't tell that story. That's terrible, but I will anyway. I asked my granddaughter to try it on, and she just loved it. But I said, give it back. I have to use it as a sample. Poor little thing. It was terrible. But I had a pair of jeans that I had as a sample, and nobody seemed impressed with. So I gave those to her, so it made up for it, and she was happy as could be.
That's priceless.
Okay. So then I also like the Mickeys here, Mickey and Minnie, and I had sewn them out on this gingham, this micro check. And it's a really kind of a lightweight cotton. So I had to really starch it, and then I put a backing on it, and then I used a stabilizer also. But I had those staring at me for how long, I don't know, and didn't know what to do with them. And by the time I figured it out that I was going to do this purse, I got the pattern, and of course, my fabric wasn't big enough. So it wouldn't go all the way. I couldn't cut this whole piece out because this piece wasn't big enough. So I went ahead and got the black dot and added it. And you can see that this one is practically down the center and Minnie is way off to the side. So they're different. But I just added the black and white and then added the names. And on this one, it was a little bit of an applique, the Mickey and Minnie applique. And then it wanted you to make a buttonhole right here. This has that foam in there, that heavy foam to make this stick up very nice. And so I thought, there's no way that I'm going to put a buttonhole in there, especially for that big a button. So yeah, I thought about it, and I remembered I had these big old snaps So I put these big old snaps on there so this can snap together. So it was just sort of thinking about it and going forward with it.
That is so cute. Everybody's commenting, what machine are you using? Where did you find these Mickeys?
That's in the Luminaire.
All right, in the Luminaire. That is a really cute bag.
Yeah, yeah, it's fun because you can unsnap both sides, and this inside comes out.
What? Oh my gosh, that's great.
And then it has this has the zipper in it.
Everybody's saying so cute. I agree, super cute.
Yeah, so it has some pockets inside.
Oh, that's
So,
wonderful.
So yeah, when I first seen it and I seen that it had a zipper on it and I seen that shape like this, I thought, how am I going to do that zipper? And then I found out it was 2 pieces, so that made it easier.
Perfect. Everybody's asking you, was there a specific, it's probably not a brother product, so I could put it on my blog, but was there a specific pattern for that jacket that you had?
Yeah, there is. It's
you can just send it to me later if you can find it.
okay, and it's pretty old, so.
So
anyway.
By the way, for all of you that asked if it was a pattern, just go through your patterns, and it looked like just a very simple.
Exactly.
And back and sleeves. You could do that to probably any pattern. So just
yeah, and then you could go to a quilting template and do your scallops at the bottom.
Yes, perfect.
So you could use a quilting template to do your scallops because that's all it is. It's a basic jacket with scallops.
There you go.
And then this is the same sort of thing. We had B2B a couple of years ago, and we did, I had the Stellaire machine with a couple other women, educators, that we were supposed to do something with the Stellaire. Well, this was a candy jar that was built into the Stellaire, and then you had Pooh Bear, so we turned the candy jar into a honey pot and had the Scan and Cut draw the lines on there.
Oh my
so
gosh.
the Scan and Cut drew the fabric, and then we did the honey pot and the others in the design center. And so I had put this on this piece of linen just to test it out. Well, it's Essex. It's a cotton and linen blend. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that, but it's a cotton and linen blend. So I went ahead and sewed it out, and then I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, well, that's cute. I want to put it on something. And then I looked at my fabric and I didn't have much fabric left. So it ended up just being this little jumper.
Oh my gosh, that is so cute. You find the best fabric to go with your outfits too. Everybody's saying, oh my gosh, what cute fabric. Obviously that's not a brother product, but so cute.
Oh gosh, I'm sort of rushing through here. I might be done fairly early. Anyway, so a lot of times on our wonderful machines, we have a lot of ways of placing our designs. You have the projection, which is absolutely fantastic, but there are other ways to place your designs. This was a little dress that I did, and I placed these designs around the bottom of the dress. And this is a faced hem, so I knew how far up I wanted each one of these to be. So I went ahead and did the same thing that I've done with my other ones, is I sewed up the side seams on here, but I left it way long down here so that I could hoop. I know a lot of people like to float their designs, and I am definitely a hooper. I think hooping gives me a lot better outcome. So I hoop most everything that I do. There's some things that you just can't, but there's a lot of things that you can. So, oh, by the way, before I forget, this little hem on here is the narrow rolled hem foot for the sewing machine. I love that foot. I love how it works. It's so much fun. I have to sit sideways to get it to work, but it does a great job doing those little hems.
Oh, look at how tiny that is.
Yeah, it's just fantastic. I love that foot. Okay, so I got the size of the design and seen how far in between I wanted. So they went around, I had them all match up pretty good.
Oh
It's
my
not
gosh.
great because you can't, you're not going to be able to see it all the way out. So I could, you always have room for a little slack there. So I marked the bottom center of my design. So I knew where the bottom center of my design I wanted it to be. And then I hooped my fabric fairly straight. And then I put my sticker here. And I'm going to show you how I do that in a minute. And scanned it. And then the machine found the sticker and placed the design right here. So to me, that was the easiest way to place those designs, and it worked really well all the way around the dress.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh. So on that, just out of curiosity, for a full skirt like that, and someone just said, is that like a simple circle skirt? It kind of looks like that, but what kind of stabilizer did you use for that?
I use a tearaway. I use a tearaway quite a bit.
Okay.
And then when people look at this, they say, "You lined it." I said, "Well, of course I lined it. I don't want you to see what I did."
That's always the secret behind the back of the embroidery disguise.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's so cute. You are so creative.
Well, it's just, you see these designs and I love them, and I just have to figure out what to do with them. I mean, I could sew them out and stare at them, but that's not gonna, I don't know. Anyway, so then I've seen the princesses and this little scroll here, and I wanted to do something with that. So I had made this many, many, many years ago, and I don't think you're going to be able to see much of it, but this is a cloak, and this is the adult size, so I'm going to do a child size, but you can see, I don't know if you can see, that it has a big hood on it and the collar, and then it has designs all the way down the front and on the bottom.
Oh, is that beautiful?
So it's just it is, and it's heavy, but it's just a wonderful showpiece, I think.
Look at that fabric. Is that velvet?
Yes, it's a cotton velveteen.
Ooh, hold that up
So-
again. We need a little more of that.
Huh?
You got to hold that up again. I'm like analyzing the embroidery, the cut of the collar. Oh my gosh, is that beautiful?
Yeah. And then you have the hood.
Do you have any tips for anyone who would like to embroider on cotton velveteen? Because I can see, I'm watching mouths drop open right now because of all the emojis being dropped into our live show. Most people would be so afraid to embroider on a velvet or a cotton velvet because of the plushness on the top.
Well, we get ourselves so hung up on things that we don't give it a try. And it really is, it's really not hard. Cotton velveteen is actually, I believe, very forgiving. Now, if I was using a rayon velvet, then I might have a problem, and I would definitely be getting out my digital dual feed foot to sew it together. But with this being a cotton velveteen, it just does a beautiful job. I just used a tearaway on this, and it just comes out gorgeous.
Wow. Absolutely gorgeous.
And so you can see right here, I've used a Sharpie to mark here, and this is a cutting line. So that's going to be in the seam. So this is a cutting line, and then I have a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and then I'll have from here over to here for this to stand out. So I can do 3 princesses down the front of this child's cloak, and then put some around the bottom. Haven't figured that out yet. So this is the front. You have 3 pieces. You have 2 fronts and a back. So this is going to be the front. So I looked and measured and did a little math, and it's just adding and subtracting, so it's not too bad, or a little dividing. And I decided that to get this 3 in here exactly where I want them, I need to put my design into the upper left-hand corner and have my box here. Now I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. I've got a piece of cotton velveteen hooped over here with a sticker on it. But once I put my sticker on there, then I tell the machine where to go to do that. Now, with Disney, now this is a built-in design. And I do like to print out a template. Well, you can't do anything with the Disney designs in the machine. You can't take them out. You can't do much with them. But because we now have my connection, I was able, and I'll show you how to do that. I was able to take my design and turned it into an applique and sent it over to the Scan and Cut from my Luminaire wirelessly and had it draw the design out. So now I can trim this out, and I just did the outside one here, and I can have a template of how big my design is going to be.
That is,
I think that's pretty cool.
That is a brilliant workaround. A brilliant workaround. Actually, that could be really cute as a card too, but a brilliant workaround.
Yeah. So I can show you how to do that if you'd like.
Sure.
Okay, can you see the screen okay?
We sure can.
All right, well, I'm going to go home here and say, okay. And I've done these designs and I've put them into memory. Now, when you can rotate Disney designs, but you cannot mirror image them. So all my princesses, I don't know if you can see these here. Let me, all my princesses are going to be facing the same way. So there's 6 princesses, so I can do 3 on one side and 3 on the other. But I could take this outside piece, so it's going all one way, so the top is this way, and then I rotated it 90 degrees twice, and now this is going this way. So on my cloak, I can have this fanciness facing each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah, how did
one
you
is
do
going to
that?
be down and one is going to be up, but it's not going to be, the same. So I got a little workaround with that too, and I think that's going to look really nice.
Oh my gosh.
So, and I didn't think about that until I went and held this up, and I'm thinking, well, they're all going to be facing like this on this side and on this side, and I don't like that. So I rotated that, and so one side's going to be like this, and the other side will be like that. And the princess is going to be right side up, but it's going to be like that. So I thought I like that a lot better. So that was one thing that once you start doing it, you think, oh, I want to change that a little bit. And
you probably wouldn't have thought of that until you printed that out and realized how severe
exactly
that curve is.
Exactly. Yes. So I'm going to put these back down, and I will go ahead and pick Cinderella again and do set. Okay, so here I don't know if you can see that the red box is around Cinderella. Well, I want both of them selected. So I'm going to come to here and pick that and do that. And now they're both selected, and say, okay, and come here and just get them together. So now I have one red box, but they're both selected, so I can move them together. So now I'm going to come to here. Now I have my distance on my applique at 0, 0. That's because I want it right on it so I can get a good size. And do you see the black here? That's because I have the outside only, and that's what I got when I did this one. So I only got the outside. If I want the inside also, if I want here, I'm going to push inside, and you see now you see more black.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So now it's caught a lot of the other lines. So I'm going to put that into memory and say, okay, now it's ready to be recalled from Design Center. When you send something over to the scan and cut with My Connection, it needs to be stitches so it can turn it into an applique. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close this out, go home, and say, okay, and go to my Design Center. And in my Design Center, this is one of the stamps. And so you see the same icon that I had over in the other one. And I'm just going to press that, and there she is. So I'm going to select it and say, okay. Now, I really don't want this to be a satin stitch. I don't want any thick lines. I just want regular lines. So I'm going to come here, and I'm going to pick a straight stitch. And I will pick a pink color and say, okay. So then I'm going to take my bucket and bucket it on the line. And it didn't get all the line because they're not all connected. So this is kind of funny. There's a lot of little pieces, and you can just skip those if you want. But I don't know if you can see that when I touch it and it turns pink that I know that it's selected. But you can see that you've got a lot of black ones there. So what I did earlier was I just kept tapping until when you hear that knock, knock, that means there's no more to do. So you just keep clicking there you go. Until you hear the knock, knock.
I think it's going to be the funnest part.
There you go. And there's a few other ones, but that's good enough. Okay. So now I've got stitches. So I'm going to go to next. And there it is. And set. And okay. And here we go. I'm going to go to edit. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. My memory went bad. So if you push memory.
Cathy, I got to make you feel good because the other day I went to transfer something and it's a new feature, right? I sat there for 5 minutes trying to remember where to go to get it.
So all you have to do is press memory. And when you press memory, you're going to see your scan and cut here. So I don't have my scan and cut on. But when I press that, it will transfer this over to the scan and cut. You go to My Connection on the scan and cut and retrieve it and draw it.
So easy.
Yes, it is. If you remember to push memory.
I have to put a little Post-it note on my machine. By the way, while you're right there, quite a few people asked, how on earth did you get that outside to rotate without the Cinderella?
Oh, okay. So I'm going to come into here. It's 2 designs. So when you come to the princesses, which is number 4, you have several designs here. So I'm going to pick this design first and go to set and come to edit and rotate it first. And then I'm going to add a princess.
Perfect. Perfect.
And I did move most of those princesses around a little bit to make it look a little bit better to me. But what looks good to me might not look good to you, so you just put her wherever you want. There.
Perfect.
So
I knew that would be an easy one to show. And quite a few people were like, I don't understand the 90 degrees. So now did a light bulb just go off with all of you? Perfect.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, it actually went a whole 180. So it was 90 degrees twice.
Wonderful.
That makes sense.
Yes.
And so there's your selection. But right now, they're still separate. So if I try to move something, it's just going to move the frame. So I'm going to put it back to center, and it's right where it wants to be, what needs to be. And then I want to combine them here and here and okay. And now I can move them as one.
Perfect.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Now they're always, once you go to embroidery, they're always one. If I moved it here, I can, it's going to make it one. So when you're editing, that's what the editing lets you do, is to rotate and move things and place them where you want. But if you had it right where you wanted and you accidentally bumped it and moved it, then you'd go, ugh. But if you combine them, then they're one and they'll move as one, and that's an edit. But once you come to embroidery, it is all one design.
Excellent. So,
Okay.
Cathy, just a quick question. A couple people were asking if they didn't have Wi-Fi with their scan and cut, could they put that into a USB and bring it over to the scan and cut?
No.
Okay.
No, you cannot take Disney out of the machine. Sorry, I don't. Yeah.
That's your short answer, everyone. And if you have more questions on that, be sure to ask this, because the brother team is always on here to help you too after on the replay.
Yeah. So it's a my connection thing.
Excellent. Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to go back home. And I'm going to come back to get Cinderella again. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go to embroidery. So I've got my fabric, and I know for the first one I wanted it 4.5 inches down, because that collar and all that stuff is going to take up some of that space up there. So this is the upper left-hand corner of my design. When you look at your designs, you have a red box around them. And let's go back to editing here. And we'll go ahead and combine them so that you can see. Do you see this red box all the way around it?
Yes, we can.
That's what the machine sees. That's the outer parameters of your design. So that's what the machine actually sees. All of this that we see, all the pretty, it just sees as needle drops. It knows where to drop the needle on the X and Y axis to give you this, but it doesn't see the design. It just sees needle drop points. So, but it knows the outer parameters, and that's what that red box is. So when you come to embroidery and you're using your stickers, that's what the machine is doing. So when I come to layout and I push my snowman sticker, am I in the way?
No, you're perfect.
When I push my snowman sticker, now if you have rotated it or moved it some, it's going to put it right back to the original position or angle. And so you're going to say, okay. Now you're going to see that you have different places to put the sticker. This is center. And that's what we're so used to, is putting the snowman sticker in the center, but that's not always what may work. For me, I want the snowman sticker up here in the upper left-hand corner. So for each line, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, you have 3 places to put that sticker. So depending on which is easiest for you to do, you're going to place your sticker. Now, if you were putting this over a pocket, you may want the lower left-hand side or the lower right-hand side. When I did that skirt, I did the lower middle. So there's a lot of reasons that you may want to pick to put your stick, to have your design go to that sticker. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So now I'm going to push scan. And it's going to scan. And you have projection and you have your background scan, but since this is just plain fabric, that's not going to do me much good. So that's why the sticker is really good for this.
Oh, wow. Your camera work is great on this too.
I tested this right before we went on and it worked, and now it's being naughty.
While it's doing that, hey, Deborah, you don't have to yell. We can see you on there. I always love it when there's all caps. I saw your first one. By the way, no, you cannot purchase that particular design. It comes in the Luminaire, but I did just put a link for you. If you go to embroidery.com, there are many designs that you can purchase, just not the one that she has there. So I put a link in there for you so you can click that, and you can see the other designs you can purchase that work on Brother machines. All right, back to you, Cathy.
So it told me to remove the sticker. I'll say, okay, I'm not going to sew this out. And it has positioned it right where it needs to be on my fabric.
That easy, just by using. I see a lot of people saying, I use my sticker all the time.
Yes. So if I do this, do you see how, I don't know if you can see that the machine went right up into that upper corner, right where my sticker was. So you can see that it worked just perfectly.
Wow, that simple. That simple.
That's simple, yeah.
So, by the way, some of you that are new to embroidery and you've never used the sticker before, there's so many different tutorials inside the Luminaire. But the sticker, that snowman sticker, is also with some of the older machines with Brother too. So make sure you
exactly. Yes. Yeah. One day we'll have to do pattern connect by camera because that's really a fun, fun thing to do too.
Put it down for your next live show. We would love to see pattern connect with the camera.
Yes. Yeah. That's a lot of fun.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah, is there any questions? I don't know. I thought I had plenty to talk about, but I kind of babbled on through pretty quickly.
You did great. What type of thread are you using in general when you're doing this embroidery?
I'm sorry, what?
Someone's asking what type of thread are you using for your Cinderella?
I usually use a 40 thread, 40 weight. Yeah. Yeah, it's so much. It's so funny. I did one of those. This is just way off subject, but it's kind of the same sort of thing. Sometimes you just run into problems. I was doing one of those jelly roll rugs. Oh my goodness. So, so I had my batting and I had my stuff all together, and I wasn't using this machine. I was using a machine that had the AC motor. So that's an alternating current. So it doesn't give it the same penetration of the needle every time it sews. It has to be an even speed. So, but this has a DC motor, so it's direct current. So it would have been easier on this one, but I was using the other machine. So to compensate for that, I used my start stop button and put my machine on a consistent speed. So that way my foot wasn't going, because the more you know you don't want to do that, the more you do it.
Right.
So I put it on a consistent speed. I used a fairly large needle, and I was getting some skip stitches. But when I was watching the machine work, I could see this big loop right up here above the needle sometimes, and then it was skipping. It was like it wasn't catching down in the bobbin area. It was like the hook wasn't catching that thread, and it would just loop for a while, about 3 or 4 stitches, and then it would catch again. And so I'm thinking, and I was using a cotton thread. I was using a 50 weight thread, and it was a cotton thread. So I stopped and thought for a while, and I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to go get one of my embroidery threads. I'm going to get a 40 weight polyester thread. It's going to be a little heavier, and maybe that will take it down better for the hook to catch it. And I'll be darned, I got my stitches. So that it's just strange how some things work, and I'm not sure why, but I just thought the 40 weight was a heavier thread, and I guess everybody understands the weight in length on the weighted threads, how it works?
They probably don't, if you want to give a tip on that.
Okay. We have our 12 weight thread. I know you go on up to 90 weight, and the 12 weight is a big, thicker thread, and the 90 weight is a thin thread, and people just don't understand that. But the way they do it is it's a ratio between length and weight, and the weight is a constant. So it's going to take 90 inches of a thin thread to weigh the same as 12 inches of a thick thread. Make sense?
That makes sense. I think everyone's like, oh my gosh, another awesome tip today from Cathy.
But
let's see, I've got a couple more.
So just try different things. And
so hopefully that helped Sally. And Deborah, no worries. I just had to put that up there. It was cute. Everyone's asking for a pattern for the cloak. We don't have that. It's not a brother product, but if it is a specific pattern. Is it a specific pattern, or did you design it, Cathy?
No, it's a specific pattern.
Okay. I'll get that from Cathy, and I'll throw it on my blog in a couple days.
Okay.
Any other question? Oh, Sheila, this was a good question. Did you hoop your velvet?
I did. And when you're ready to sew, when you're ready to do your embroidery, go ahead and hoop it, sew it out, and then unhoop it as soon as possible. And I pressed it from the back. And once I did that, I mean, I did see, when I unhooped it, I did see some hoop marks around here, but I took it and I pressed it from the back, and they're gone.
Wow.
And there was just no puckering. It just worked really well.
It's absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, someone asked earlier, when you were embroidering that, did you use a topper for that?
No, I didn't. No, the nap on this isn't very high, so I didn't worry about it. I probably should have, but I didn't.
Well, if you should have, it sure looks awfully good, Have. It looks perfect without it. So,
I know that using a topper is something that is done a lot, and I do use it for certain things, but I don't use it as much as other people, I guess. But I've worked on the cotton velveteen before, and the cotton velveteen is a scary fabric, but it shouldn't be, because it's very forgiving. It's a really nice fabric to work with.
Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Cathy, you've given such great tips today for organizing in your mind for sewing and embroidery. Yes. I think you blew away the organization. We are so excited.
Yes. So, is there any other questions? I feel like I kind of.
Oh, I think you did absolutely fantastic. You want to join us back on camera?
Sure. All
right. While she's switching back over, Shirley, what type of stabilizer did you use? She said she used tearaway. Brother has a really good tearaway stabilizer. You can check with your brother dealer on that too.
Yes, I use the Brother tearaway. I usually use the medium weight.
Perfect.
Yeah, I use that quite a bit. It's one of my favorites. So there are times that I like the cutaway mesh. And of course, when you do the lace and things, you want to use the water-soluble mesh. But I do use the tearaway quite a bit.
Thank you, everybody. So thank you. I don't think I missed any questions. I'll wait 1 sec. I know there's just a little delay. Someone said, now that you showed that jacket, are you going to give it to your granddaughter?
No. No, I take it to shows. And, you know, it did take some time to get that jacket done. And
it's
when
gorgeous.
I go to her house and I see her stuff just thrown all over the place, I'm thinking, well, you know. And then she has, she just doesn't always take care of things. And I might, I don't want to get upset at her.
So cute.
It's people just love it as a sample. So I think it's going to be probably a sample for quite a while.
How long did that take you? I mean, just the embroidery itself had to take a while.
Yeah, it did take a little bit of time. Yes, it did. Yeah.
Oh, Jane, I make you cold with my short sleeves. I've been running around my office today, and it's like 74 in here. Everybody's saying, great show. Thank you. Thank you. Cathy, this is fantastic. So, Cathy, I have a request for you then. Could you please add that pattern connect with the
Pattern
camera?
connect my camera?
Mm-hmm. How would you all like to see that next time she comes on? Because I think that would be fantastic. And Rose, I see you asking for instruction on something, but I missed what you wanted instruction on. Jane says your embroidery is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Let me just see if I can see what Rose. Hi, Rose. Great to see you, by the way. A lot of you were asking about the My Connect. And that is a new feature that goes from the Luminaire to the new Scan and Cut. It's a new feature. So it will not work with the older models. It's specific to that at this point.
Yeah.
All right. Let me just see if Rose mentioned. I think she wanted instruction on something, but I don't see it. So Rose, if I see it later, I will make sure I add it. Oh, no, it was Dolly. I'm sorry. Dolly wanted. What did you want instructions on, Dolly? If I see it pop up, I will. Otherwise, we'll add it to another show. And by the way, for those of you that are new to embroidery, you can go back onto the Brothers Sewing and Crafting Facebook and YouTube page. How many videos do we have now? I think this is episode 236. And I didn't even start counting the episodes during COVID. So for the first, the COVID lockdown, for the first 3 months, we didn't even count. So there are hundreds of videos. Go back. You can search by machine and you can binge watch. So everybody's saying, thank you, thank you. Cindy wants to know, do you do quilts?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I don't know. I have that bee quilt that I did, and then I have other ones. Most of the ones that I'm doing now are on the embroidery machine for the quilting part of it. Of course, you piece on the machine, but I've been doing the quilting in the hoop. So that's a lot of fun.
Oh, that bee quilt was gorgeous. Marcy, you broke your shoulder. Oh no.
Oh, no.
I'm so sorry. Oh, great to see all of you. Jenny. Hey, Joanna, Brother Sews highlighted a comment you made. By the way, if you would like to be highlighted, so thank you for mentioning that. Right above here, hashtag Brother Sews, hashtag Brother Scan and Cut. Make sure you share what you're working on. They love to see what you're working on. They love to see it.
Yes.
Well, Cathy, this has been a fantastic show. I know you are off to Road to California. I hope it's a fantastic event.
Oh, I hope so too. Yes. Looking forward to getting sort of out and about, but well.
So make sure all of you, if you're at Road to California, how many of you are going to be there? That's a huge show in California. Stop by the Brother Booth and say hi to Cathy, or you're going to be in the classroom.
I'm going to be in the classroom. Yes.
Oh, take a fabulous class.
Yes.
Well, Cathy, it's so nice to see you. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Wonderful to be here. You take care.
All right, everyone.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you for watching. Cathy says thank you. And brother, thank you for letting us take over your page. Until another day. All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.